Okay, we don't need to do all that. We heard the song already.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, so I have to put an announcement now. Da 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 da.
There we
We're
go.
getting ready to talk video games.
Yep.
Yeah, that's probably what happened, you know?
Yeah, I just noticed you right around the time you were saying that Twitch was shutting down. I happened to look at my
Yep.
phone, and it was like frozen, and I was like, "Oh God damn it!"
I had
Yeah,
the little buffer wheel
yep,
of doom on my
yep.
fucking second monitor over
That's what
here.
it was.
So,
That's what it was doing. That's what it was, and I was like, "Son of a bitch!" Like,
and then right when you hit the fucking shut down button, it stopped fucking buffering and it went back live. Like
Yeah.
right when we refreshed the bitch.
Yep. Now we're good
all
to
right though.
go. We're back.
This ain't our first rodeo. We've dealt with this before.
Oh,
Like,
fucking. Yeah.
Okay, wait a minute now.
So, video
All
games.
right, I was a little scared. Okay, I was like, I didn't see it yet, but there it is. All right,
you're good.
about fucking time. What? John hit the button. No, we're just having technical difficulties. We were multi-streaming, but we brought it straight into here.
Yeah, John, I think we might want to just explore just staying purely on YouTube with our show since you have so many issues with Twitch when we're fucking live.
I will not give up. I'm gonna continue to do it. I'm sorry. I have to because it's part of the whole brand thing. But
Joe, don't even bother.
No.
Don't even bother.
Here's a
Joe.
thought process then, John.
Me and John have had this conversation before. Don't even bother, Joe.
No, I've got a thought process then to potentially fix it before we jump into video games. Let the tech mind speak. Instead of going live using the multi-stream function through Talk Studio, create a separate scene in OBS that doesn't have cameras or anything, and just throw the fucking browser source up in there.
Brandon Cleary, what's up, dude?
So Bear says, okay, what about the grilled PB&J? Yeah, so he had said that right before we had to redo.
Ooh, that's an interesting thought. A grilled PB&J, huh?
So I've had a toasted PB&J.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know if that's anything, but a grilled one, sounds
good.
That's
a little different, but I mean, I'd be down to try.
I like that.
Down to try.
That sounds really good, and I'm here for it. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you and tell you that I'm not. You know what I mean?
Right.
That sounds really good. In fact, I'll probably tell my wife to do it today. But let's start off with some stuff. How was Memorial Day for you guys?
It was okay, pretty tame. I went to my watering hole and played some music and had a couple beers and I went home. So I kind of just didn't do much. Just kind of took it easy and chilled out. And I didn't do much this week. Like I went out on Memorial Day, and I don't think I went back out and I don't think I left my house again until Wednesday, and that was like in the evening. And that didn't last very long. And then I came home, and then I went out Thursday. I wasn't out for very long, and that's kind of been about it for this week, like whole week. Like that's all that's all I've done.
Yeah.
As far as like not a lot of excitement, but laying low and taking it easy, I guess. So
okay. That's okay. I mean, for me, I just played a lot. I played a lot of video games. I did a bunch of editing.
Hell yeah.
So I can actually talk about what I was talking about last week. I'm actually working on a small documentary for the wrestler Colin Parker and his teammate Jay Alfredo, and I'm working on the documentary that highlights the day of their win.
Cool.
Working on too about Audie Murphy.
Nice.
No, and I'm not doing the voiceovers for that. One of you guys are. So,
well, you know, there's a whole thing if you like do like the Sergeant Audie Murphy Club in the Army, like there's a whole like you basically have to like memorize his biography.
Yeah,
and you've got to say it to them like basically like, you know, it's kind of like the NCO, like the NCO creed, like the creed of the
yeah.
Like you have to say the whole thing verbatim without making a mistake. Like that's just one small thing of like, yeah.
Yeah. I did some Red Dead RP this week. We did the fight train, which this is actually the second week in a row too. First week Bear hosted it. this week. The train, well, the train station hosted because they're an overall company in the server.
Mhm.
So that was pretty cool. Got to see people fighting on the train. That was fun.
Yeah.
Watched some pieces of material this week that we'll get into our review section after Squillini finishes up his week. And then yeah, it
Okay.
was for Memorial Day. We blew some fireworks.
Nice.
We
Nice.
got a fireworks store opening up a couple blocks away from here. Like, so I'm pretty
Yeah, I know you're stoked.
I'm excited for that. We blew a bunch of fireworks and they had this one. It had a bunch of jet planes on the cover of it.
Hmm.
And it was like it would shoot red, white, and blue. So
Cool.
it would shoot up a whole bunch of stuff, and then
Yeah.
all of a sudden you would think it was over. And I started getting close to it to kind of clean up the mess, and it fucking exploded one more time.
Hell yeah.
I was like, oh, I was like, fuck yeah, okay. Scared the shit out of me, but that was cool, man. I wish I'd gone to a parade. There wasn't really much happening around me. But yeah, that
now,
was
now that I'm thinking about it, I haven't like bought fireworks in a while, and there's plenty of places out here I can get some. You know
yeah.
what I mean? It's like maybe I just need to blow some shit up like a little bit. You know what I mean? Like it's always fun to like blow shit up.
You got any
know?
rage rooms in your area?
What is it? A range room?
Rage rooms, where you get a
Oh,
baseball
I don't
bat,
know.
you just start smashing shit.
I'd have to look that up. I mean, quite possibly and probably. I mean,
Yeah.
Kansas City's a big enough metro. Like, I'd be surprised if we didn't.
Yeah.
There's rage rooms around there.
There are?
Yeah.
See, there you go. Wait, how do you know?
Like, when we were visiting, I was looking for shit to do in the evenings.
There you go. Okay.
And I saw that there were some, but we ended up not doing those.
Okay. There you go, John.
Ooh, Freedom Fighter with the Black Rifle Espresso this
Coffee.
morning.
I have coffee. I just need to warm it up. Holy crap.
So
thank you for reminding me.
Yeah, so Squillini, before I go into reviews and stuff, why don't you? Oh no, it's okay, baby. What was that? The kids are having fun this Sunday morning. But Squillini, talk to us about your weekend, then I'll start off with some reviews when you're done, man.
I mean, fuck, it was a week. It
was a week.
It was a short week. Fucking, it's been more of a fucking weekend though. We Friday morning woke up. One of our cats fucking decided he didn't want to fucking walk anymore.
Oh my god! I thought you were about to say he didn't want to live anymore. I was like, holy shit!
Freaked us the fuck out. $600 and like almost $800 fucking later due to a vet bill.
Oh god!
To be handed fucking antibiotics and a steroid to potentially treat a neurological infection, and if that doesn't work, then it's cancer.
Holy shit!
So, yeah.
Well, fuck.
Pussy cancer is not funny, man.
How old is the cat?
He's 8.
It's like midlife, basically.
Oh, that cat's getting there.
So, I mean,
that's about how old my cat is, actually.
It's one of those situations where it's like, if the meds don't work, the only thing it potentially could be is cancer. We wouldn't have like 100% that's what it is.
Yeah.
Because to really diagnose it, we would have to take the cat and have him get an MRI. MRI for a cat costs $4,000 fucking bucks.
That's a no-go. They don't
and
really
then,
have
you find out that you get yes, it is this. And then
fucked up.
And then it's like, here's the treatment options, but the treatment options are chemotherapy, which doesn't fucking guarantee the cat's going to live anyways. It might extend the life for, a year or so, but then cat's quality of life goes down because it's chemo.
If it's like that electromagnetic storm that's like hitting us right now, like we're going to get the Northern Lights tonight here.
Oh, yeah, I see it. Yeah, it came back on. Yeah. I mean, everything is still recording.
Yeah, we're fine.
We'll keep going. I mean, I'll keep an eye on it. I could piece everything together. I love doing this shit. Squillini, sorry about that.
So, did that. I did get the, I guess you could call it launch trailer for the new podcast, fucking recorded, edited, and up.
Why don't you put it up? Show us.
Yeah, you can show us.
Me go pull fucking. Where is it? We're gonna drop the link to the general chat.
If you do that, I'll fucking pin that bad boy.
And I'm not gonna share audio. I'm just gonna kind of do a quick preview.
Tech joined.
What you think about?
Welcome everybody
kind of
to
did the quick
the
intro trailer
launch
discussing
video
what the
or
show's gonna be
trailer
about, what we're gonna
of our new show,
doing, this, that,
Flag
and
for
the other.
Removal.
Definitely
This is a
anybody
Tech Guy
that's
Media
a fan
production
of this show or
in
a constant
association
viewer,
with
check that out.
Queen
We're
Sanchez
kind of,
Media. When I say in association with
you're
Queen
talking
Sanchez
over
Media,
yourself.
Flag for Removal
you guys
was
can hear
a
that?
Oh, yeah.
product of
Well, I've
Queen
got the
Sanchez
app.
Media LLC at one point in time, but a few years ago, with conversations between myself and John over at Queen Sanchez Media, the rights to Flag for Removal were handed over to Tech Guy Media and myself. This was done due to our partnership with the DD214 network podcast that's live every Sunday here on YouTube and also over on Twitch on the Queen Sanchez Media Twitch channel.
But I'm gonna go ahead and stop that there. If you're interested to check it out, go to the Flag for Removal channel and watch the video, first episode. Hoping to get that recorded this week with Mr. J. Campbell over here.
Fucking A.
And then
we'll have a good time.
That'll be part of, it's not gonna fall under the Queen Sanchez Media umbrella. It is, its own separate thing away from that, but it is part of the family of Queen Sanchez Media because it's me.
Yep. Clean said, and it's kind of like what you, me, and Laura is. Like, it's part of the family, but it's not.
Same tribe.
Yeah,
it's not part of your portfolio. It's the same tribe. It's just not part of your personal portfolio of.
Yeah, exactly.
Product.
No, and actually another one just became part of the family in the same respect. It's called the Inside Edge Hockey Podcast, which is hosted by a friend of mine named Cal. I don't know his last name. That's kind of crazy, right?
Yeah.
Friend, I don't know his last name.
That happens sometimes. I mean, we're dudes. You know what I mean? Like we don't need all the details.
Yeah. So
are you
one
Joe
thing I will
Sanchez
say
now?
No, I'm not from the dungeon.
No, but you want to know something fucked up? Speaking of that, every time I'm working on like the stuff for the descriptions, for some odd reason the descriptions always say Joe Sanchez and the host. I swear to God, I'll screenshot it for you next time it happens. my PC thinks that my name is Joe for some odd reason. I don't know why, but yeah,
because Joe Squillini built your PC.
You've toxicated my fucking PC. I don't even know if that's a fucking word, but it is now.
I mean, it is now. You just said it.
I only impregnated the AI while I was putting it together.
Yeah. Actually got to do it. It's due for a cleaning this week, so I'm kind of excited. Did you guys see the Knicks get their ass kicked last night? It wasn't a good day for New York yesterday. All right, D. It was.
Yeah.
Is it ever a good day for New York?
I mean, between the Knicks and then the Yankees, like ooh.
You want to know something funny? I had a conversation with a buddy of mine the other day. He was just like, "What the fuck is going on in New York right now?" And because he saw the video, that you had showed us a couple of weeks ago, Jay.
Oh,
he sent it to me, and he was like, "I was like, oh, I've seen this. This is just typical New York behavior when we win. That's all. That's all it is."
He's pouring motherfucking honey into his mouth. Like it's like, wait, what? Like
the Asian guy. Then there's the Asian guy screaming. That was so good.
Like motherfucker pulled a knife. He's like, "I'll cut you." Like
you Tatum. Yeah,
how the fuck did he get up there?
Fucking New Yorkers.
At least they were having a good.
You know what's funny about though? I actually do have an answer for how did he get up there.
Do you know like the sign that dude was sitting on? Like how the fuck would you get up there?
I don't know the sign, but I could tell you that it is a lot easier to get up in a New York City building than you probably think it is. Because when you're looking at the video, it kind of looks like it was like how do you say kind of neighborhoodish. Or maybe it's like a neighbor, a part of an area that has like bars in the bottom and apartments on top, because that's what Brooklyn is, you know. It's bars on the bottom, apartments on top, and restaurants and stuff like that.
Pretty fucking dope, actually.
It's great, and rooftop gardens. I mean, the way New York looks now, it's actually kind of cool. It's just, you know, we've talked about
Fuck
it.
New York.
But now, if I had to assume, he found his way into one of the buildings, or he lives in one of those buildings. Buildings are close together. You could roof hop it, and then maybe if there is a ladder on that sign, or if that sign was on a roof,
boom.
There's your
and that's like it was just like, I just loved how like it just progressed that entire. I don't do TikTok. I don't watch a lot of reels. You know what I mean? Whatever.
That entire fucking video just progressed.
That one made me laugh my fucking ass off. Like, I laughed my ass off.
My thing about this, and I may get some criticism about this, and I love New York and I love the people of New York, but I think people forget how bravely idiotic New Yorkers can be.
Yeah, well, I mean, when you're surrounded by
there's subway surfing. Have you seen the videos of that?
I don't. Well, no, and I don't want to. No.
Yeah,
that sounds like some shit I would have gotten into when I was a kid. Like
Fat Joe the rapper jinxed the Knicks. Oh, he's not Fat Joe anymore. He's Skinny Joe. Just like he jinxed the Yankees. Fuck New York, New Jersey all day.
God damn.
I agree.
New York's getting all the hate today, huh?
The smell does not come from our side of the river. I'm just saying, right? We have the industrial zone, but that's that's nowhere near. But did you close off your section, Squillini?
Yeah, I mean, that was really, the cat, and then just getting that video, that initial fucking launch video up this week was really all there was to it. It was a fucking week.
Fantastic. So I'm gonna show you guys. So I have.
And they're getting slightly back here on there.
Let me shut the sound off on that.
Yeah.
So yesterday, and I'm gonna start off with this, since we're kind of talking about sports, and I consider this a sport. And Bear, I hope you're still here, because you're gonna love this shit. So I have found this new obsession. You know, I just subscribed to Joe's page. There you go. There you go. So my wife and I, we always find obscure things to watch at night. You know, usually cops. We're usually watching fails. We found a wrecking derby of school buses, which was pretty cool to watch.
That sounds pretty kick ass. Like,
but we found this thing called, and it is a Red Bull event called the Soapbox Derby.
Fucking A.
So I got some footage I can share while I talk about. And yesterday's happened in Iowa. I'm only showing crashes, by the way, so get ready.
This is in Iowa?
This is a compilation, but yesterday's happened in Iowa at the state capitol.
Okay.
And they get a small section, maybe like the parking lot, and they turn it into a racetrack for soapboxes. Now, this is one of the most magnificent things I've ever seen in my life, because I thought this was a thing for the 50s and the 60s and stuff like that, you know? Little rascal shit. And these people just get so goddamn creative with this stuff. And it is incredible just seeing what happens. And look at that.
Oh my God. They just ate shit.
Yeah.
It's like, God damn, dude.
That's why they're like wearing fucking motorcycle helmets. So when they eat shit.
Yeah. Clearly.
So apparently one of the only ways to watch this is, through Atmosphere TV, which is you need a business to watch.
What?
Yeah. It's like one of those like office TV channel things. And I'm just like, wait a minute, I own a business.
Nice. Yeah.
So I'm looking into that, so I don't have to miss these again. But there was a streamer Grand Pooh Bear or some shit like that. So he was streaming it. So I had to watch it with his stupid ass. And but we got to watch it. It was fun. We got to watch the Iowa one. It was great. There was some really good creative ones. A lot of great crashes. One guy broke his collarbone too, which was pretty crazy.
Oh, I believe it. I believe it. Like when they start building up speed, and then if you just completely fucking eat shit, you know what I mean?
Some guys were going like 35 miles an hour. It's
oh
crazy.
yeah, you'll get fucked up like good, dude. Like you know what I mean?
Like I said when we were last talking about this, we just need to do a DD214 one, make it look like a tank, but the barrel of the tank is a giant penis.
Well, I'm glad that you brought this up. I'm glad you brought this up because apparently it is free to enter.
Well,
and you need a team of 5. And the best part is if you just want to go and spectate, you can just
go and spectate.
You can just, and it's free. It's free to go. You can just go there, have a good time. You get free Red Bulls if that's your thing.
You said the one they just did was in Iowa. Where's the next one?
The next one's going to be in LA, I believe. I have, there's one coming to Kansas City.
What?
Yeah.
I was going to say, because the Iowa one wouldn't have been that far for me.
Soapbox Rakes, Kansas City. I'm trying to look for the. So this was Iowa.
D, all your comments are just telling me is don't go to fucking New York.
That's North Jersey he's talking
Jersey.
about. And yes, I did hear about all that stuff. It's all crazy bullshit.
This is exactly why I don't go to that part of the East Coast.
All right, so the next one is in Utah on June 14th, and then the next one is Los Angeles on July 19th.
Okay.
And then this one is view event info. What does the Red Bull Soapbox say? They actually have a TV show. I guess I thought there's one coming to Kansas City. I don't know where I can find the schedule for it.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out.
Yeah,
that'd be fun to go check out.
I've never been one of y'all.
You what?
Talking from the dungeon.
Yeah, this is. I mean, it's great. It was fun to watch an actual one live, seeing some of the creativity that went down. So it was great. Let me go through this. Did you hear about someone getting killed on 80th Street? I heard about all that. I saw a massive car crash on Route 17. There's always car crashes on Route 17. And that sheriff that fell out the window in Jersey City out of the courthouse.
Oh,
I heard about all that too.
Something happened here in the KC Metro. It wasn't exactly Kansas City. It's a place called Excelsior Springs. A fucking car like ran off a fucking embankment and it ended up into like the roof of a veterans hall. And apparently, this is the fucking second time since February that shit's happened. They just had their roof replaced from a previous incident in February of the same shit.
So there's something wrong with the road.
I think it's time that they sell that building and go somewhere else because
how are they going to get insured? They just replaced 2 fucking roofs in like 3 months.
I mean, it's technically not their fucking fault that people don't know how to fucking drive, but
it's at what point is the insurance company going to be like, "Fuck you, dude, we're not insuring your roof anymore"?
Yeah,
you know what I mean, like,
well, the driver of the vehicle that crashed, their insurance has to cover that damage.
You would, I mean, if they have insurance, right?
Oh yeah, true. Yeah. Because there was one guy the other day. We were coming down the fucking interstate. We were doing and he was just fucking like zipping and swerving and fucking like going at least $120.
Hell no.
And he's driving a fucking Audi R6, a legal ass fucking window tint all the way, like blacked out windows all the way around. And I'm like, dude, you're gonna fucking kill yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You're also making yourself a giant fucking target because you got a legal ass window tint and you're driving like a fucking lunatic.
Yeah.
You're going to kill somebody else. And you're probably a fucking drug dealer because of that illegal ass window tint.
Right.
Because they also, like, a big thing in the South for some people is like even like tinting your taillights and headlights.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But why? But why?
Exactly. Well, the people that do it are the less than savorable type.
Oh, I see. Okay. So if we were trying to get away at night, like you can
Get away at night, flip off your fucking lights, and you're not going to be able to see the brake lights or anything, the tail lights of the car, this, that, or the other kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, like driving under nods was pretty cool in the Army. You know what I mean? When like you don't have you shut off the freaking the main lights, and then you have like lights you can only see under nods, like shining for the headlights. That's pretty cool. That was always fun.
I heard in the South it's hard out here being a pimp when you're trying to get the money for the rent with the Cadillac and gas money spent as a whole lot of bitches jumping ship.
That's got to be a lyric from something like that. That has to be.
I have no idea.
Yeah, that's got to be a song lyric of some sort, but I don't listen to that type of music, so I wouldn't fucking know.
So I got two more reviews for you. The next one, I'm saving the best for last. The next one is for a movie called The Brutalist.
Oh, it's from a movie. It's from Hustle
and Flow. Oh yeah, it's been a while. So we got to watch this movie called The Brutalist. It is an Oscar-winning film with Adrien Brody. So start off, I think that was the reason why my wife and I decided to watch the film. We were talking about The Pianist, and we were talking about how he just won an Oscar for a film. We were just like, what movie was it? And we were like, okay, let's give it a shot. And The Brutalist is, I guess the best way to describe it in my perspective is like a time piece biographical film about a Hungarian architect who was a survivor of the Holocaust who comes to America to, just to continue his life. And he falls to some luck, he falls to some hard times, and it follows his story. And it seems like the story is told through the perspective of another character that was around his life, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the movie starts off, I believe, in 1950 and ends in 1970 something or 1980.
Okay.
And it's filmed with a camera that was made in the 1950s called the VistaVision camera.
Okay.
Which is a very old school camera, and it has a very specific look to it. So, if you know movies from that time, like from the 70s, where it has that natural film grain to it, that's what this film has. And it has a very beautiful look to it. The art on it is beautiful. Like just the setting of everything just really works.
Interesting.
And
what platform is this on?
I watched this on, was it Max? I may have watched it on Max.
I can tell you in a second.
I'll look it up. Yeah. Continue what you were saying, lad.
Yeah.
You said the name of the movie was
The Brutalist.
Yeah, and it's I had to stop the movie halfway because it's a biographical film about a fictional character. Yeah, Max. It's about a fictional character, so I had to look up to see if there was any truth to this movie. And no, it's a completely fictional film. And the one thing I really enjoyed about this film is how the film was edited and produced, because back in the day, credits used to roll before the movie started.
Okay.
And that's how this movie started, with the credits.
Okay.
A full-on credit sequence. And I thought, okay, this director is using an old school style of film that people have used back in the day to kind of like build the energy and kind of build the hype with the music, because listening to the music, which the soundtrack was amazing too, and the soundtrack won an Oscar as well. And a powerful story, man. And there is an intermission halfway through the movie too, which is another interesting bit, because we don't have intermissions in movies these days.
Right.
And it's a 3-hour and 15-minute film with Adrien Brody. I highly suggest everyone go watch it, but I am going to warn you. The first half of the movie is sunflowers, rainbows, and then the other half it gets fucking dark.
I mean, it is called The Brutalist.
Yeah.
So
the title reflects his art style and architecture.
Mm-hmm.
If you're familiar with how it is, but if you think about it, with the name, it kind of does add in
a little double entendre there.
Yeah, right. I mean, I laughed, I cried, I cheered, I screamed. It was by the time we got to halfway through the dark parts of the movie, my wife and I had realized, like, this is why this movie won an Oscar.
Interesting.
or a few of them for that,
Yeah.
rather. Very powerful movie. I think it's a great movie of our time, and it has themes of social identity,
Hmm.
um, the rich perspective of the poor
Okay.
and immigrants as well,
Hmm.
and a little bit of hope. A little bit of hope with a dribble of darkness in between.
Okay. I can dig it. I can dig it.
Yeah, let's see. Squid Game season. There were so
They
before
did the dumb thing yesterday on Netflix, which was
Okay.
like a big festival.
Okay, no, wait a minute, because like something happened last night before I get to my last review. Something happened last night and 10 trailers got released last night from different platforms.
Okay.
Netflix, Max, Apple, like a whole bunch of different companies were like competing for fucking views with new trailers that came out last night. And this happened in the middle, like at night in the
Yeah.
evening.
So
It just bursted out. There was a ton of trailers that released.
we'll circle back and talk about that once after your last review. We'll let you get
Yeah.
that last review in real quick.
So we're going into Netflix right now.
Um,
Let me fucking tell you. We watched the new documentary that is on Netflix about Osama bin Laden.
Okay.
Everybody knows the story.
For the most part, yeah.
Yeah. Now, but what some people don't know that there's always been a story since before 9/11. There's always been a story.
Oh, yeah.
Before there, and some people don't know that it didn't. Some people don't know that it didn't start at 9/11.
Oh no, I
Well,
remember reading about him in the newspaper in the late '90s after
Yep.
the bombing
88.
of the bombing of the USS Cole.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like that was like
So-
it was like 90. I think it was like 98, 97 or 98. I
Yeah.
was still in high school, but
Yeah.
but we knew who masterminded it like then, and I remember reading his name in the paper back then.
Yes, and
So-
then and he was even interviewed by a journalist in 1988 as well,
Mhm.
which was kind of fucking crazy. But the documentary, the first 2 episodes, it's a lot of things that we already know, but it's kind of like the buildup. But in between there, they add stuff in there. You actually have Leon Panetta speaking in most of the documentary, which was very
Okay.
interesting.
Interesting.
Brenner from the CIA, from I believe who was Brenner? Your sound is playing too, by the way, Squillini. I can't remember what Brenner's role in the whole thing was.
Mhm.
But it talks about the transition from Bush to Obama.
Mhm.
They talk very lightly about the weapons of mass destruction situation. Very
In-
lightly, which
For what? Like in Iraq?
yeah.
Well, Iraq was kind
Yeah.
of a debacle, and
Yeah.
which is not to say aspects of Afghanistan weren't a debacle either, because
Oh yeah.
we had every reason to go into Afghanistan after 9/11, but why do we stay there for 20 years?
Yeah, well,
You know what I mean? And
let's talk about
it begs a lot of the questions.
yeah, and
You know
it
what I mean?
talks about one situation, and this is something that I mean, if you've looked through the files and read through the stuff, you know about this. There was an issue. Was there any weapons of mass destruction?
They never officially found. We know we do know that they had some because we gave it to them. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So we knew that they had some. We had some. I don't remember them ever actually finding
Finding
anything.
anything? Yeah.
After we went into Iraq. Yeah.
I was going to say they
was
had
more-
them because we gave them to them.
Yeah.
But when we tried to go and take them back, so to speak,
Yeah.
poof, they were gone.
Yep. And that's what I mean. Part of a little bit of that kind of bleeds into that situation too.
Yeah.
But there was a situation, and if you guys know about this story, if you guys read through everything, and I want to talk about this day, and this is a major fail on the CIA as a whole. There
Mhm.
was a situation where they found an asset from Al Qaeda that
Mhm.
they thought that they were able to turn.
Okay.
The asset went missing for a few months and then ended up being with the number 2 of Al Qaeda.
Okay.
Said that they were able to turn them. So they set up a meeting in a CIA base, and no one searched them. The guards didn't search them at the gate. No one decided to
Do their job.
exactly. And what do you think happened to the 6 or 7 CIA agents when they met with that asset?
It got blown up, probably.
Yep. Every single one of them dead.
Yeah.
It doesn't fucking. I mean,
That's-
it's the fucking CIA.
And it's
Well,
but this is
well,
what I this
They're
is
not
why I
the
like this
brightest on the fucking planet.
this is why I like this documentary though, because it talks about every single major flaw. And with, of course, the people who worked at that time not blaming themselves for it, because that, obviously that's what some of them did, not blame themselves, because a lot of them were to blame because they were head on with the situation. They had the information and did nothing with it half the time.
Right.
But they deep dive into that stuff, and they speak to members of the CIA who were actually in the room when bin Laden was caught, members who were part of this situation.
Well, I do want to say too, like anytime you're working with intelligence, there is a big difference between actionable intelligence and just collecting intel. You know what I mean? Like there's a big difference because you can't just take everything at face value. You can't go kicking doors down just because somebody says maybe. You know what I mean? Like it has to be fucking actionable. If it's not actionable, you could be getting people killed for all the wrong reasons on either side.
And you know what?
You know what I
Without
mean?
spoiling too much, that's what the theme of the story is about, the capture, And I think that if I have grown a newfound respect for that cabinet, for that situation.
They certainly dealt with a lot. I
Yes,
mean,
they did.
you're talking about you going from 9/11 into two fucking wars,
A new presidency,
a new presidency going into another decade following a recession.
and in between all of that, numerous attacks, numerous failed manhunts, failed information. It was a crazy time, and like now I'm 37 years old now, right? We're me and Squillini are around the same age. You're a little older. Understanding everything that went down for those numbers of years and seeing everything and hear their perspectives about it, you're kind of like, oh shit, like this really happened in our timeline. We were growing up and doing all this stuff while history was happening, and at any point in time,
we were also taking part in fucking history.
Yeah, because I was gonna say, I mean, that manhunt section, both me and Jay, we were over there during that fucking shit.
I was 1 month away from being there. Like that, like
because they caught him right before you went on your first tour.
Yep, he got killed literally like a month before I landed in Afghanistan the first time. Like it was that close. It was that fucking close.
I was on my way out the door of the army at that time. Like I'd already been over there once. I've been to Iraq twice at that point, getting ready for what would have been my second time in Afghanistan. We probably would have landed in Afghanistan at the same time if it wasn't for my injury, Jay.
Probably close to it. I mean, there's a lot of overlap. I mean, I went, like you went 3 times. The only difference being 2 times to Iraq. I went 3 times, all 3 times to Afghanistan. But there was overlap with other units almost every time I was out. Like my first and second tour, there was still a lot going on in Afghanistan, so there were other units all over the fucking place.
Well, and the thing is, it's right as you were kind of getting in and going into your time period of deployments, we were already closing out the end of the Iraq side of the conflict.
Yeah,
basically,
because my second tour in Iraq was when we pulled out of Iraq.
Right.
Interesting.
Yeah, and then there was a lull in that, and then we sent some people back. We started sending people back over to Iraq around like 2014, 2015, and it was called like Inherent Resolve or something like that or whatever.
And it was more just peacekeeping mission at that point. It was peacekeeping and trying to train up the Iraqi military and security forces or whatever the fuck they decided to call themselves. Policing matters, and because it was a lot of MPs in the end there in Iraq, because there was a lot of training their soldiers and troops how to do policing maneuvers.
Yeah, Afghanistan was a whole different can of worms. It was.
And so I highly suggest everyone to watch this documentary. It's 3 episodes. First episode's like 30 minutes, second episode's like 50 minutes, and then the third episode's like 90 minutes.
Holy shit.
And
Okay.
so they really
That's
so
not
it's-
too bad though. That's not too bad.
Altogether, it's about 3 hours and
Three and
something.
a half. That's like 3.5 hours, maybe.
Yeah,
That's
I
not
mean,
too bad.
you could do the whole thing in a sitting, you know, if you want to have, you know, have a drink and just sit down and watch the whole thing. It's really good. It's very informative.
I might check that out. I might check that out tonight. Like,
There's a lot of cool information in there that I looked at my wife. I was like, oh shit! Like, especially realizing like a bunch of the attacks that happened during that time were done by Osama bin Laden.
Yeah.
You know, and you don't really realize it until you see it. You're just like, oh shit, I remember that. That was him.
Yeah.
That was him too. And then, you know, it really clicks. It really clicks. Amazing documentary. So I want to go back to some of the things. You got to watch the documentary Heavy Metal in Baghdad about that metal band from Iraq.
That sounds like a fun one.
Yeah, I'll check that out. Did you guys ever watch the HBO TV series about Saddam Hussein and his family?
No, but I am somewhat studied on Saddam Hussein and his fucking 2 asshole kids. Fucking.
So I know one of his sons had an imposter. I think they made a movie about that.
That family was into some shit.
It was crazy, yeah.
Like beyond like it was bad. Like
Yeah.
It's like, okay, maybe there were no fucking weapons of mass destruction in Iraq. Maybe it's also not a bad thing that Saddam Hussein went bye-bye. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of like it's like 6 of one, half dozen of another. Like both things can be true at the same time. Kind of thing,
the best way to look at it was, did we have a fucking reason to be in Iraq? No,
probably not. Probably
was
not.
it probably a good idea for us to go in there and take Saddam out?
Well,
depends on how you fucking want to sleep at night and your moral obligations in that scenario. Because
let's look at what happened.
You know, it's one less fucking terrorist leader in the fucking world. So,
well, look at what happened when they called Osama bin Laden. They went into a whole nother different country without telling them.
That's Pakistan. Yeah,
Pakistan. invading airspace.
Oh yeah, and where they found him was like right next to like Pakistan's.
Yeah,
it's like Pakistan's equivalent of like West Point.
Yeah,
you know, it's like a fucking military. It's a base basically. It's a military training fucking facility. Like, and that's like when they found him. Like that's why we had so much trouble getting him in the fucking first place. Is like like they're very
insight.
They're a very insular people. They're a very insular people. So if you're not in with their crowd, good fucking luck. And then that's fucking, to them, he was a fucking holy warrior with all the fucking shit he pulled.
Yeah.
You know?
I love how you talk about that too, because I watched a video recently of a content creator going to the compound, and I think he went there April of this year.
Okay.
And when he went there was a bunch of kids there, just, you know, because the compound's gone.
Right. They're just playing in the rock, right? Playing in the rubble.
Yeah. And it's just grassland there, and all the kids are playing on there. And like all the kids went up to this guy who was recording, and they were telling him, like, oh, are you here to see the compound and stuff like that? And one of the older kids was just like, yeah, I remember. I lived in that house right there, which was right across the street from where the helicopter crashed.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, yeah, I saw everything, and everything was scary, but none of us knew that Osama bin Laden was in that house.
Right.
And that one kid was mentioning how there were kids and adults that would come out of the compound and play with them, and that they were the nicest people they ever met. But not one of those kids that will go out of the walls were any of bin Laden's family members. It was the other people who were living in the house and their families.
Yeah, it was the help and the servants and the.
It was like the courier. There was a courier in there. One of the bin Laden sons.
Did the movie mention at all like Tarnak Farms, like outside of Kandahar?
I'm going to be honest with you.
In Afghanistan,
I think it did, but very lightly but I think it talked about it more in the early days. But it
would have been like before. It would have been before, like the year or two prior to like 9/11. It's like when he was like they had Al Qaeda there training, and they were in the run.
Yes, they do.
That's like right outside of Kandahar. Like I've seen that place physically with my own 2 eyes. Like
actually
where like the global war on terror started.
Yeah.
Like I've laid eyes on it, like physically.
And now,
like,
and what's interesting about that, they do talk about that, and they actually have footage of it too, which is kind of fucking wild.
I mean, it's still like aspects of it. It's there's still structures there. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? They're not very well kept, but there are still structures there.
Yeah.
Like when we would leave on, if you left out of a certain gate at Kandahar at the time, and it was actually a range so that we could shoot some of our crew serve weapons. And you rolled out and you'd pass Tarnak Farms, and that's where it all started. That's where the whole kit and caboodle got fucking started. Like, and it was like
so
it
they
was very it was very surreal. It was very surreal. Like anytime we went to go practice with our weapons or do whatever that we left that way, it was always surreal driving by Tarnak Farms, because like that's where the shit fucking popped off.
They talk a lot about everything that went down before 9/11. You know, like they talk a lot about it. So yeah, I'm almost certain. The one thing that I was surprised that they didn't talk about though was the Korengal Valley, because that was a big part of the Afghanistan war, was it not?
No, not necessarily. It was.
I know, not for the manhunt.
For the manhunt, it would have been closer. But the problem with the Korengal is it's a very isolated valley. So they don't necessarily have to take the Korengal to chase bin Laden, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So when they were, I remember they had him cornered like Tora Bora, but that's like super fucking close to Pakistan. Like,
yeah.
And he basically slipped through
He ran off. Yeah.
He basically slipped through a net.
Is that the one? Is that the situation where they had like the late air call or something like that, or there was like
I remember there being some failures of intelligence and also failures of cooperation from allies. So he was able to kind of slip away at Tora Bora and make his way into Pakistan, and after that is where like the trail started getting like.
I think Rumsfeld had something to do with that too.
Well, and that's kind of
it was very early in the war. It was very like if we had caught him at Tora Bora, I don't know if we would have ever gone to Afghanistan. Like if it had just ended if it had just ended right there, we already toppled the Taliban in like a matter of weeks, and then if we had caught fucking bin Laden at Tora Bora, like, okay, give them elections and we're gonna get the fuck out. And it basically would have stayed mainly a fucking special operations fucking war or conflict. As it turned out, we went in fucking like full bore. Then fucking Iraq popped off a year later. You know what I mean? Then Iraq popped off. We went full bore in fucking Iraq, took our fucking foot off the gas in Afghanistan, and we had the Taliban. We basically had the Taliban broken and bloody on the fucking ropes, waiting for a fucking knockout blow. And we like turned our backs on them and fucking walked to the other side of the ring, fucking like puffing our chests out. And we ended up there for another fucking goddamn 20 years.
Well, the way I've always liked to put it from a historical standpoint, if we look at, wars and conflicts we've taken place in over the years, when we turned our back on the fucking Taliban that fucking early on, after we pretty much, like you said, had them at a knockout blow, we did what we did with Germany between World War I and World War II. We left them alone long enough for them to regroup, recover, and then went back in after them.
Yep.
We should have fucking ended it there.
And that was the surge. That was the surge when I joined. That was the 09, like 08, 09. I know I went to basic in 10 and I was back in Afghanistan for the first time in 11. So that's literally the timeline. Like, and we had them basically we had them nuked at like fucking 02, 03. Give me 1 second, gentlemen. I'm getting a phone call.
No, yeah. I remember like reading about like they practically flattened that area during that time. They were just blowing shit up left and right.
We wouldn't have been there for 20 fucking years if we didn't leave the Taliban alone long enough for them to regroup and recover.
Yeah.
And that's really, that's one of those things that, like, I always like to say, the US, we learned from our mistakes in the past with, like Germany, with fucking, even,
stuff, yeah.
with Japan, fucking with Korea, we used fucking things that we learned from fucking between World War I and World War II, especially like Korea, where we have permanent installations in fucking Korea now on the south side of the fucking border, because we don't want to leave North Korea alone long enough to fucking let them fuck around and find out. And, what we did with Afghanistan when we turned around and reshifted our focus to Iraq was we let Afghanistan recoup. We let the bad guys fucking recover from this fucking giant ass fucking bloody knuckle bare fucking hand boxing match we just had.
And we
And
fucked them
then
up.
we go back in, and now we're
we
stuck
fucked
there
them
for
up.
20
We
fucking
fucked them up.
years because, you know, we let the guy we're going after fucking slip through the fucking crack.
Yep.
Or, you know, so it was, I feel Afghanistan, if we didn't do that, we would have fucking gotten out of there a lot fucking sooner.
Way sooner. Way
and lost way too many people.
I probably, Jay, me and you probably would have never fucking landed
Probably
in
would have never
Afghanistan
gone.
if we never fucking left them alone.
I may have still joined the army, but I probably never would have seen Afghanistan. Like if we had got that motherfucker at Tora Bora after beating their fucking asses for like several weeks, if we'd have gotten him at Tora Bora, the berets and the fucking SEALs and the recon units probably would have fucking pulled out, and we could have just said, "Here's your country back. Fucking go have some fucking democratic elections. Good luck." You know what I mean? And we wouldn't have necessarily had to fucking stay there. You know what I mean?
Well, and the thing is,
from the dungeon, you're not wrong. It's a very different culture, you know, over there. But that's why a lot of the things we did and the way we operated during the wars, that's why a lot of the shit just didn't work. Our culture and their culture are two vastly different things. They're not necessarily completely opposed to each other, but they are vastly different.
The people that make the fucking play calls at the top for our side, instead of trying to figure out how to embrace their culture to make it work in a way with what we were trying to do for them would work, they just were like, do it this way or it's never going to fucking work.
Well, and there was a lot of can kicking too, like kicking the can down the road, where it's like you got commanders in certain at certain echelons and in certain elements, they're only there for a year, and then they rotate home, you know, or they're only there for 9 months and they rotate home. You know what I mean? And so it's like every time.
Didn't they drop it down to 6 at one point?
Well, the Marines do 6, Air Force does 6 and 3 and fucking a year. The Air Force has multiple tiers. The Air Force is fucking weird.
Air Force, it really depends on your
job. That's your job.
On whether you're 6, fucking 9, or a fucking year.
Yeah.
Pilots, they try to rotate out every 6 months.
Ranger units in the Army usually only do 3.
Yeah.
They'll go on like multiple 3-month. It's almost like a fucking, you know what I mean? Like it's almost like like
your spec ops groups, you know, Rangers, even the Berets, fucking SEALs, MARSOC, the fucking PJs in the Air Force. A lot of those guys, they do those quick, you know, you're there for 3 months, you're rotating out, coming back home, you're home for a fucking week or 2, and then you're going back for another 3 months. And that's just because they're the ones going in, and it's like, we've got this very specific target we need you to fucking hit.
Yep.
And we need you to hit it fast and destabilize a fucking government.
Yep. High value targets, man. HVT.
Do you guys think we will ever see anything like this ever again?
Well, yeah, it's the world. It's the world. If it's not us, it's going to be somebody else.
Yeah, I mean, the human race is full of a bunch of fucking dumbasses and fucking dickheads
with guns.
With guns.
This is interesting. They show
look at what's. But John, look at what's happening in Ukraine right now. We've been talking about Ukraine for 3 fucking years.
And
it's the same fucking shit, dude. And the losses that Russia is absorbing are staggering amounts of losses. They don't give a fuck. You talk about a difference in culture, you know, like we would get our picture showing on fucking CNN if we got our fucking heads blown off, dude. Like they're losing like 1,000 a day, literally, like with no fucks given.
You know, and people have this misconception that soldiers fight to die. No, we fight to protect, and if we die in the process, we die trying. You know,
I mean, there's a whole different fucking realm here, because
we have a very different philosophy in our military than certain other countries.
Yeah. So like if we talk about, say, even fucking the fucking, you know, Taliban fucking soldiers, the fucking ISIS soldiers, fucking the Iraqi National Army when it was under Saddam Hussein's fucking thumb, they were fighting, or even North Korea, the fucking North Korean fucking military, they're fucking doing it because if they don't, they'll be killed by their fucking government.
Yeah. or by their own people.
or by their own people.
Yep.
Like they're more doing it for out of fear. Where, you know, here in the US, those of us that do sign the fucking dotted line, sign that fucking check that we're not sure is we're ever going to fucking, you know, be able to cash type of situation. When we do that, we're doing it out of pride for our country, out of fucking service, out of fucking honor, integrity. You know, we're doing it to feel like we've done something.
Yeah.
Most of the time.
You sign up expecting to be doing your job one day and then eating sand the next.
I mean, the thing is, when I joined during a time of war. I knew the probability because of the MOS I was going in under, because I was going into a combat fucking arms fucking MOS. I knew the probability of me ending up in the fucking sandbox, whether it was fucking Iraq, Afghanistan, either fucking side of the fucking war, was really fucking high because of the job I chose to fucking do. I could have done fucking anything I wanted in the fucking army, and I chose to do a combat arms job. Because the whole point of me signing up was to help fight and defend our fucking country. And, you know, I knew what I was getting myself into. Jay knew what he was getting himself into. You knew. All of our fucking veteran buddies we've got on the podcast that served during that time frame, every one of us knew what the fuck we were doing to a degree. Now, were some of us mentally mature enough to fucking decide we were going to do that shit? Fuck no. I was 17 fucking years old when I fucking graduated MP school. I had just turned 18 when I fucking landed in Iraq for the first time.
Yeah,
there was not a bone in my fucking body that was mature.
But I was 29 and I was 30 going into fucking Afghanistan for the first time.
Well, that's why I said some of us,
Yeah.
Jay, because you're like the grandpa of the group. Okay.
Well, and it just shows you the difference in the diversity of the people that serve.
And it's
You know
funny
what I mean?
because I'm right in between you guys because I joined at 23 years old.
Well, and then there's, you know, then there's like countries like Thailand. I've been seeing a lot of the way Thailand does their, like, they do a draft system.
Yeah.
It's like a lottery system.
Their draft system is actually kind of interesting.
And it's pretty cool. You go in, like when you turn 18, you go in and it's just a room and they have a bucket and you draw a card out of the bucket. If it's a black card, you're 3 years of service. If it's red, you don't serve at all and you get to fucking go do civilian shit.
It's cool. They actually treat it like a celebration and like it's really cool. I saw videos of it too, and I went down this rabbit hole because I found a video of men celebrating not getting service, and it was one of the funniest videos I've ever seen.
It's so fucking, like, the Thai people, like the videos I've seen, it's always these really flamboyant guys.
Yeah.
And like they get the fucking red card and they don't have to do service and they'll like break down in tears and start fucking like pop locking, dropping and shit. And like, it's just
the soldiers are laughing with them. Like they're celebrating with them. It's kind of funny.
I think we're very, very lucky in this country that we don't have conscription
like that.
Yeah. Like where it's like, if like, God forbid, you don't want to serve and you draw the black card, right? Like you get the that's basically like getting a draft notice.
Yeah. And now you're stuck for 3 years.
Yeah.
And you're going to resent it the entire time. You're not going to be, that's one thing that I don't like with drafts you don't have a choice at that point. You have to do it. You're going to resent it. You're not going to be the best fucking troop on the fucking planet.
I don't know about you guys. I had enough trouble with people that were in the army that
volunteered to fucking do it.
They weren't even forced. Like they volunteered and they were still fucking stinking the room up, dude. Like, come on.
It annoyed the piss out of me going through even fucking basic and MP school. You had these guys that just fucking,
can't get right. Just can't get right. Like,
and it's like, dude, you fucking chose to be here. Why the fuck?
Yeah. What? Like, how do you not give enough of a fuck? You did this to yourself. You made this choice. And like, there's already enough of those in an all volunteer army. I cannot fucking imagine trying to herd cats with a bunch of fucking draftees that don't want to be there. Because it'd literally be like fucking herding cats. Can you see my blood? Can you see my blood pressure going up? Like, I'm just thinking about being like Sergeant Campbell again and having to fucking deal with a bunch of like crazy ass fucking draftees that don't want to fucking be there. Oh, bro.
Yeah. So,
Oh man, I'm glad you brought that up, Squillini, because I was thinking about that too, and I'm just like, yeah, they treat it like a celebration. And there's a lot of them that are happy to be drafted, right? Because there are people out there that are just like, yeah, I'm gonna be in the military.
I think
Fuck yeah.
every country probably has its own citizens that love their country.
but like the way Thailand does it, because I looked into it fully, is it's purely a draft system.
Yeah,
Like you can't just go volunteer and sign up.
it's sheer luck, like legitimately, it's sheer
It's
luck.
100%. So like, even if you want to serve, you can't just go serve. You have to go through the lottery system. And if you don't pick the right color fucking card, too fucking bad.
You don't get another chance.
No.
Yeah, that's weird. That's really weird. Like, whatever. Okay.
Yeah, it makes no fucking sense to me, honestly, because there's enough people in the country that have that pride in country that want to fucking do it. Let them sign up first.
I think anyone dumb enough
They don't.
anyone dumb enough that wants to volunteer for the military should be allowed to at least try to join. Like,
Absolutely.
anyone.
Now from the dungeon, no, they don't, and that's just something that they have a rule for, and if that's the rule that they have, that's on them. That has, we don't know anything about that, so we're not in their shoes, and that's respectfully, of course.
Yeah,
We just don't know. Yeah, not our conversation.
Not my monkey, not my circus.
Not my circus, not my clowns. Like,
yeah, that's it. I mean, so draftees,
mhm.
and then there's draft dodgers. I've never been a draft dodger before.
Oh, we've had a couple of them as fucking presidents. Just saying, just throwing it out there.
Who was it?
Clinton and fucking Trump.
Yeah,
both of them fucking dodged the draft. Like,
I didn't know Clinton dodged the draft either.
He was in college. I mean, he's basically he took the college way out.
He had an excuse.
And then Captain fucking Bone Spurs, our fucking current POTUS, fucking he deferred fucking 5 times.
Captain Bone Spurs, is that what
yeah, Captain fucking Bone Spurs.
What the fuck does that mean?
That was the excuse they gave.
He
for
deferred
him.
because of bone spurs in his fucking ankles or some shit like that. Like,
yeah, that's like he's
dodge a ball.
But that being said, I will
barely dodged a fucking bullet.
Well, dude, like that I was just gonna say that being said, I'll defer back to my previous comment. If somebody doesn't want to fucking be in the goddamn fucking military, I don't fucking want them there. Yeah. I don't fucking want them there. So if that fucking coward had to get a fucking doctor to say that he had bone spurs so that he didn't have to go to fucking Vietnam, good for him, because he probably would have just been a detriment to his fucking unit.
I know.
And then here's my next statement to piggyback off of that. I also feel like, though, if you didn't serve a fucking day in the military, you shouldn't be allowed to be the fucking president of the United States. You shouldn't be able to run
civilian
and be in charge from the highest level of our fucking military.
I would disagree with that.
That's debate. That's a debatable conversation.
That's debatable. I don't think military service should be a requirement to be in government at all, because that kind of defeats the purpose of like having a democratic republic, basically. You know what I mean? Like, you shouldn't have to be a soldier or a Marine or whatever just to serve the people. You know what I mean? So
Bruce Springsteen failed his physical exam due to a concussion and his behavior at induction. John Fogerty of CCR entered the Army Reserves to avoid being drafted. Bob Dylan joined the Army Reserve. Listen, the Army Reserve is good.
Hey, check it out. Fucking what's his name? Who's the goddamn dude that did Stranglehold? Ted Nugent. The dude That dude shit his pants like just so they wouldn't fucking take him in. Like,
oh look, there it is. 10 dudes usually use the student deferment, which is a legal way to avoid service. Iggy Pop reportedly did some creative acting at his draft physical to avoid being inducted,
which is fine. Which is fine. Like, let him. Like,
if they don't want to be in, don't join.
Yeah, here's a perfect example. Jimi Hendrix was in the fucking army, he was very famously in the army, but fucking like he got kicked out. He basically got kicked out because he was basically failure to adapt. And it's like nothing against Jimi Hendrix, but those are exactly the guys and gals I don't want in because like
I actually know someone who has inconvenience to the army on their DD214.
What does that mean? It says inconvenience to the army?
Inconvenience to the army.
That's just they got out and like because they
he failed to adapt.
Interesting. Interesting.
He
Yeah.
failed to adapt, and it was so bad that it said inconvenience.
Like, yeah, that's I believe it. I had
a couple troops back in the day that were an inconvenience to me, but
I didn't have to personally process anybody out, but I definitely had soldiers that came to my squad and had to be transferred out of my squad en route to being processed out of the army. And so like I did have a fair amount of shitbags I had to fucking deal with, and you spend 90% of your fucking time dealing with the fucking shitbags, and like you only get like 10% with all the fucking soldiers that actually want to be there and actually give a fuck. And that's why it's as an NCO, especially for me, I was a staff sergeant, I was a squad leader. It was always important to have two really good team leaders because you have to fucking you have to divert your fucking workload to your fucking team leaders so that you can deal with this one fucking shitbag. Like, so you personally can deal with the one shitbag. You know what I mean?
Ask you, have you ever met a shitbag that still got the work done?
Oh yeah, but there's I would say there's shitbags on like different tiers and different levels. There's
a whole fucking pie chart for this.
There really is, because you have like you've got like shitbags that can't do PT. So that's basically kind of inherent on them to like try harder or go to the gym after fucking work. You've got shitbags that suck at their fucking MOS. Okay. You've got shitbags that just suck in general and they're doing all the wrong things. They might be really strong in PT and really strong in the field or at the range, but they get in trouble all the time. They fucking get in trouble. They get caught. They do stupid shit. You know what I mean? Like all that. And then you've got like the hardcore mega fucking, like, why the fuck did you even join the goddamn army? Yeah. Like grade A asshole fucking shitbags where it's just like nobody twisted your dick and forced you to fucking sign up. What in the fuck are you even doing here? You so don't belong. You so don't. I'm wasting my goddamn fucking precious time fucking dealing with you instead of fucking dealing with motherfuckers that actually want to fucking be here. And I'm wasting my goddamn fucking time. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like those are that last one. Those motherfuckers are the ones that really, really like. Sometimes John, I had to just fucking walk away. Yeah. I literally like couldn't even fucking get the words out of my mouth because I probably would have just started swinging, and then I would have lost my fucking career. You know what I mean?
I had one. I never got to fully out process him because in the middle of him out processing, I fucking changed fucking assignments to a different unit,
which happens all the time.
It does,
but he got a DUI while on duty driving the fucking squad car.
Oh, see that's that shit. That's that fucking shit. I was just fucking talking about.
That's the dirt bag that's not good at his own fucking job.
Yep.
It's not fucking hard to drive those vehicles either. I'm just saying.
It's not hard to stay sober on fucking duty. You know what I mean?
Dude,
like
you're a fucking MP. You're out there doing fucking traffic duty. You're driving a squad car. You're pulling people over for doing stupid shit behind the wheel of a vehicle. Yet you're drunk while behind the wheel of a fucking squad car.
That's that shit, right? John, remember I told you there's a couple of fucking little shithead kids when I was in the infantry. They're doing life in fucking prison in Colorado now for murder.
Yeah.
Remember I told you about that shit? They were in my squad at one time. Two out of the three of them.
Yep.
They're
So, I mean,
doing fucking life, bro. They're doing fucking life. They're locked down forever. Like that's that shit. That's that shit. Like fucking.
It's so fucking like, why if you choose to sign up, do you just be stupid?
Like they stain not only their own uniform, they stain our uniform.
Yeah.
With how bad of fucking pieces of shit they are.
You want to hear
this kid that I mentioned, he that was one of the worst fucking phone calls I ever received.
Oh, I bet.
Because you want to know who pulled his ass over?
Oh no.
Tell me it wasn't like Sergeant Major or fucking like a captain or something.
Our fucking company commander.
I knew it. I fucking knew it. Like
he was he went out. He was like that day he decided he wanted to go do some patrol work too, and he saw him fucking swerving around, fucking just jerking off in the fucking car. So he stopped him to just figure out the fuck he was doing while he was fucking being a dumbass.
Yeah, what the fuck are you doing? Let me guess, he smelled alcohol.
Mm-hmm.
Smelled alcohol on him, and it was fucking. That's a wrap. That's a wrap, homie. That's a fucking
and then
wrap.
I'm fucking sitting there. I'm getting ready to go in for the day. Like my shift hadn't started yet.
It was just beginning, Joe. It was just beginning.
And I literally, I just got done at the gym. I was finishing my shower. I'd fucking just pulled on my fucking pants. I was getting ready to blouse my fucking boots, and there goes my fucking cell phone. And I look at it, and I'm like, "What the fuck is the commander calling?"
What's up, sir?
Staff Sergeant Squillini, can I help you, sir? What the fuck, Staff Sergeant? This is the motherfucker, blah, blah, blah. I'm like getting my ass chewed out on the fucking phone. And I'm like,
I just got here, sir. What the fuck?
I'm not even fucking at work yet.
I haven't even gotten there yet. What the
shift
fuck?
hasn't even, I haven't even gotten into my own POV to get to the fucking station to get my fucking squad.
I don't even know who's in trouble yet.
Like, dude, like
which motherfucker did it?
Oh, hey, from the dungeon, to answer your question, they had already been chaptered out of the army. So this happened. They ended up staying in the Colorado Springs area. Two of them got caught up. They tried to rob a coke dealer, and they ended up killing the coke dealer in a gunfight. And so both of them are in jail for life. Another one, the third one, was captured in a fucking motel room with fucking firearms and drugs and fucking other things. So I don't think that one's doing life. That one's probably doing like a decade or two. The other two are down for life. They're like they got life in prison for murder.
Yeah.
And they were out of the army. So we didn't they were already gone. But it basically like they were in training with us to get ready to go to Afghanistan the following year. They got kicked out of the army before we went to Afghanistan. And while we were in Afghanistan, the news came out that they had been captured for fucking murdering a coke dealer and fucking.
So,
god damn, dude. Like,
do you want to hear about two shit bags I was around?
Oh fuck yeah, bro.
So, and I'll keep them short. So the first one, I can't remember his name, but and this happened in boot camp. Okay. Mm-hmm. I was a sick call warrior. Okay. I'll say it right there. I went to sick call a lot because of the
food. Love you, John. Still love you.
No, but the reason why I was a sick call warrior in boot camp was because of the food. Because I would get allergic reactions to the bananas and stuff that was touching the bananas and stuff like that. Got bit by a spider once too on the back of my neck. That was bad. And so yeah,
bad luck. Bad luck.
It still blows my mind that you're allergic to fucking bananas.
I know, it's crazy. And I finally met someone else who's allergic to bananas too. And but amongst that, so this guy, I had fucked up my ankle towards the end of boot camp. I was scared they were going to leave me behind to do another week because I had missed some PT. Mm-hmm. But I had told Joe Sartz, I could still do the PT test. I'll work through the pain. Fuck it. Like, it's not that bad. It's just an ankle. I could still do push-ups. I could still run. Like, whatever, I'll do it. And I did it, fantastic. But there was like a 5-time period that I went to the hospital to get my ankle checked out so that they could clear me. And
Mhm.
every single time I was there, I saw this guy. And the last time I saw him, he was actually cuffed to the chair because in boot camp, once he got his cat card, whenever we would leave and he was in one of the trailers, he would escape the base and go out to the bars and stuff. And the taxi drivers wouldn't question him or the gate guards because he had a cat card. They would just, scan it in and he would go in and out. He got caught every single fucking time. And every time I saw him, he'd be like, yo, you got any tramadol? And he knew what I was there for. And he would always ask me for tramadol. I'm like, dude, get the fuck away from me,
off. Dude. Yeah, like what the fuck? No, I don't.
And every time I saw him repeatedly, he thought we were friends because we saw each other.
Yeah, all
the time. You know?
And again, like what did you join for? Like what are you're not even out of training yet. You didn't even make it out of training. What are you doing?
Now, I'm not gonna lie to you. I stuck out the trailer to go across the street to get a Gatorade from the soda machine.
Oh no. Oh the horror.
Not a fucking Gatorade.
Yeah, like that's a little different. That's a little different. Like
this guy was leaving the fucking base.
Dude, when I reclassed to the infantry, one time, me and one of my fellow reclass buddies, we were given a pass on Sundays to go to there's like a rec center, right? Well, one time, because I had left some cigarettes in my car when I got there. One time we took a little sideways detour and we walked into the forest far enough that we could fucking smoke a cigarette. We did that once because we were there for 11 weeks. We did that once on one Sunday and we never did it again. It was that was just our little, we'd been there for a few weeks. We were just taking a little breather, kind of taking a knee. We smoked a fucking cigarette together. We fucking both threw in a dip and then we fucking spit it out. We fucking buried our fucking trash. And we didn't touch anything until we got out of fucking Fort Benning again. Like no shit. Well, but that's a far fucking cry from being a malinger. You know what I mean? Being a malinger. We weren't looking for trouble. We were just we were already in the fucking army for fucking 4 or 5 years at that point. Like I'd been in Afghanistan for a fucking year. So we were just kind of taking
you're going through fucking infantry training and you've already got a combat patch.
I did. I literally did. Now, that was they let me to their credit, they let me wear my combat patch the entire way through. That was
you'd already earned it.
Now
because we had guys that reclassed to MP during my OSIT at fucking Leonard Wood, and they had already had fucking tours under their belts, and they were wearing their fucking combat
at the time. It was almost uncommon to see people that didn't have a right sleeve patch because at the time just about everybody had fucking gone somewhere. About everybody,
especially the reclassers that were going through to change their occupation. Almost every reclasser had a fucking combat patch. And they were all reclassing from a non-combat MOS where they were overseas in combat, but they were primarily on the fob. And shit like that. And then they decided, no, I want to do more actual combat. So they went infantry, combat engineering, military police, the different combat arms positions because they, like me and you, Jay, they just fucking fell in love with the adrenaline of fucking war.
It's fucking, I knew probably an AIT to be a mechanic that I probably was going to end up changing my MOS. I knew that like an AIT. Then I jumped at a chance to go to Afghanistan as a mechanic because we thought, like we said earlier, the wars were dying down. We thought deployments were going away. So I was like, well, fuck it. At least I'll get a deployment as a mechanic. And if I want to change my job, I'll fucking do it when I get back. And that's kind of what I did with the expectation. But I enjoyed I enjoyed being in Afghanistan. So I was like, if you want to go back, you're not going to go back as a fucking mechanic. You go back doing something else. Go back with a fucking weapon in your hands instead of a wrench.
Yeah.
And that's, I when I reclassed, I missed the birth of my youngest daughter to do that. That's it caught there was a cost attached to it. And then once we got to Fort Carson, the next 4 years after we got to Fort Carson, after I reclassed was literally like training cycle, deploy, training cycle, deploy. So the next 4 years was just I was gone. I was gone for 4 years after that. Like that was the price. That was the price. Like selling your soul to the devil fucking has a fucking cost attached to it.
Yep. And before we get to our thing, the second shit bag.
Yeah, tell me about number 2.
So number 2, I actually went to boot camp with.
Okay.
I went to AIT with, and we ended up in the same unit together once we got to the operational army.
Mm-hmm.
And he was great. You know, never had any problems. I hung out with him a lot. Me and him became good friends during the time of training.
Okay.
You know, really nice guy. And I'll name him by his name, Sims. I have nothing bad to say about him, you know.
Except he's a shitbag.
Yeah, you know, outside of the uniform, really cool guy. You know, I could hang out with him, smoke a blunt with him and shit like that. Nice guy. But in the uniform, once we got to Fort Benning, he started relaxing a little bit.
A little too much?
Yeah.
A little too much?
So one day, he's not in formation.
Oh, God.
And I'm like, oh, that's weird.
Oh, God.
I'm like, oh, that's weird. This happened for 3 months, Jay.
Not in formation for 3 months?
So guess what? Guess where he was?
AWOL? Like fucking for 3 months. I'm gonna say fucking AWOL.
Yeah.
Like,
and guess what? Guess who knew? Everybody knew where he was. And
where was he?
He was in Brooklyn, New York, hanging out with his girlfriend, with his family. And here was the funny thing. The army and our leaders allowed the payment to go through for 3 months to see if we could get him back, to entice him to come back. You know, like, oh, they're still paying me. Maybe he'll feel bad and be like, maybe I should just come back, right?
Oh.
We didn't hear from him.
And now there's gonna be a warrant out for your fucking arrest.
So one day, it's about 5 o'clock in the morning. I get a phone call from my NCO. Hey, we got to be at HQ. I'm like, why? He goes, something happened. I'm like, of course something happened. And we get into formation, and guess who fucking shows up standing next to me in formation?
Yep.
Sims.
Got brought home, didn't he?
And I look at him, and he looks at me, and he puts his head down, and he starts laughing and starts shaking his head no.
Oh my God.
And I looked at him, and I was like, you crazy motherfucker. And I whispered at him, what happened? They stopped my payments. So that day,
that'll entice you to come back.
That formation was there because he got extradited back to Fort Benning.
So you'll get escorted too. You'll get fucking escorted, like in handcuffs.
Yeah, they drove him.
Yeah, or that. It's like it's literally like
him from Brooklyn, New York.
Yep.
All the way back down to Fort Benning. I'm not sure if he had to go to Leavenworth or anything. If he did, I don't know, because I know that's a charge. That's AWOL. You're gonna get time for that.
I don't know. I doubt he.
You're not gonna do so with AWOL.
Definitely not. You can be
being the resident MP of the group.
yeah, please.
And having had to deal with this on a few occasions, AWOL, you're not going to get like time in Leavenworth. You're going to get chaptered out and then just have time in the fucking brig at the base. Like you're just going to be thrown into a cell at the fucking MP station for, a month, 2 months, whatever, and get chaptered out.
And you'll always have an escort. Like freaking, you won't be able to go anywhere by yourself. Like,
and they took all the money back.
I've had to escort soldiers like here and there that like had to be watched. Like I've had to do that multiple times. Like it's like, and like all you can do is kind of like you said, John, like kind of laugh and joke with them. But it's also like, dude, don't fucking try to run away from me. Like, just don't.
Yeah.
Like, just don't fucking do it.
Don't give me a fucking reason.
Don't give me a fucking reason. Like, we can be cool. I'll even take you to fucking Burger King before we drop you back off at the fucking barracks tonight. But like, goddamn, don't fuck with me. Don't fuck with me.
That formation was funny too, because that formation was specifically him. And the first sergeant that day was just like, don't and these words, don't fucking go AWOL. We will find you.
Yeah,
You
they
know,
will. They
we
will.
will find, you know,
Well,
and
When you sign that contract, you owe that time, especially if they're fucking paying you. Especially,
just like if you're working as a contractor for roofing or something, if
Yeah.
you are contracted for that job for a set amount of time, you have to be
you
there.
have to do that. That is
well,
correct.
that's like Randy Orton, for instance.
Randy
You know,
Orton,
he joined the
that's right.
fucking Marine Corps and then went fucking AWOL
Yes, he
Mhm.
did.
for a short period of time, and then they caught up with him. The matter was fucking handled, and then he was released and he went into the fucking WWE.
Yeah.
But I mean, you know, they're going to fucking find you.
Oh yeah, you're not getting away. Even if you get away for like a while, you ain't getting away forever. The first time you get pulled over, and they scan your fucking your driver's license or whatever the fuck, you're done.
Your state
You are-
ID gets fucking flagged at that point. Like
a
you go
mutual-
AWOL, your fucking your social security number, your birth certificate, fucking every little document you have
Bless you.
to prove you are who you are is fucking flagged in a national database
Yep.
stating that you have fucking eluded the fucking military, you have fucking ran away, and that you're wanted.
and you're wanted, and that, like you
Yeah.
will be
There's
taken
a
to
warrant,
jail.
and it's one of those warrants that local cops don't even call to check to see if they want you back.
No, they'll fucking just
It's
take
an
you to-
automatic. You're going in cuffs and being brought
Yeah.
back to whatever
So,
base.
and it's actually, there's someone that my wife and I know through acquaintance
Mhm.
who joined the army, and then a group of friends that my wife and I know went to said base to pick up said person, and they've
Mhm.
been AWOL for the last 20 something years. They got caught a couple months ago, and now everyone that was involved in that drive through,
Mhm.
they're all in jail right now. Every single one of them.
Don't fuck with the government's money, dude. Do not fuck with the government's money, dude.
Every
Like,
single
and
one.
that's
The one guy I haven't even seen since they did the pickup, and that was like almost 20 years ago, and I haven't seen him since.
I
You know?
believe it. I believe it. I mean, they don't play with that shit. Like you can get away for like John, like you just said, 20 years. It's gonna catch up eventually. Like you will get caught eventually.
And the thing is, the big thing is with AWOL, the punishment, the severity of the punishment depends on how long you were gone too.
Yeah.
So, you know, if you're only AWOL for a week, you know, you might get fucking 2 weeks in the brig and then released fucking out of the military with a dishonorable discharge, and that's it. 20 years, you're probably going to end up in fucking a place like Leavenworth.
Ooh, this is a good
Because
question.
you've been a fucking wanted person for fucking decades at that point.
This is a good question. Does anybody have insight on this?
So
Depends on
first off,
depends on who you are and what you did.
yeah. So first off, there's
It's not
different types of
Guantanamo.
military prisons.
Gitmo is
there's-
a military
there's-
prison, but it's not, you know.
There's things that fuck. Me as the local resident MP, I am still not legally allowed to fucking talk about.
Yeah.
There's some insights that I've been given by friends of mine in the military where it's like I don't know how much I can say about this either, but I do have some insights, and they're not pretty. Because it's not civilian prison. It is not civilian prison.
No, it's not. Now the differences we have though is there's the military prisons like Guantanamo Bay, or a big one during the Afghanistan-Iraq war was Abu Ghraib.
Yeah.
I know a guy who was in that unit. I know a guy who was in that unit. Like
my cousin, who was the 2-star general, was the fucking provost marshal of the fucking army at the time that all went down. So
Right.
he had to fucking sit in front of Congress and answer a bunch of questions on why that went down.
Yep.
But you know, those are military prisons, but those are military prisons for people we capture for terroristic threats.
Leavenworth.
Then you have-
Leavenworth is a little bit different than that.
Then
Yeah.
we have Leavenworth being the biggest known military prison, which is for the guys and gals that were in the service that did stupid shit
While in the service.
while in the service.
Mhm.
And that's a little bit different because you're still a US citizen. So treatments on both sides of that fence are different because you've got non-citizens just you fucked around and tried to find out against our fucking country and we caught you. And then you've got US citizens who fucked around and found out against our country, but you're US citizens, so we have to treat you better.
Ooh, I could answer. I could kind of.
I mean,
answer this.
technically, both we have to treat them fairly and fucking humanely because that's what we're supposed to do.
So
whether it fucking happens is a different question.
yeah. Now this question: do they have gangs like Bloods and Crips? So, from experience, from people that I have spoken to, that I have been in units with, there are. It's no secret that there are
gang members join.
Yeah, a noticeable amount of members who have been part of that life or are still part of that life that do join. And
What
I
are
mean,
the
like one of the things about like from doing reading and stuff like that, living in areas where it's prominent, a lot of these gangs that didn't want to be violent didn't start off violent. And there are a lot of people in gangs who have, I guess, a similar style of military life when
there's a structure in there, and there is discipline. There's an element of discipline because if you live that life, like you have to be somewhat disciplined and structured to live that life. It's a lifestyle.
But
yeah,
being in the military is a fucking lifestyle.
Yeah. And also a lot of gangs, they'll send people into the military to learn the tactics, the combat strategies, the fucking infantry fucking guide, pretty much, to learn those battle tactics. And then, they'll do their 4-6 year fucking contract, get out, and then bring that back to the fucking gang and train, their own people on those same tactics.
Mm-hmm. There's elements of infantry training that I wouldn't necessarily consider them hard, but you have to train them, and you have and to show Joe Blow or whoever like your tactics, basically, like even just to train it, you have to be careful. Like I have to be careful about some of the things I talk about, like not necessarily because they're classified or anything like that. It's a lot of it is stuff people just don't need to fucking know. They just don't fucking.
Yeah.
It's kind of like need to know basis. If you're not in the fucking if you're not in the fucking infantry, you don't need to know how you don't need to know how a 9-man squad works.
Yeah, and
you know what I mean. Like you just don't.
And there are instances like when I came in, a group of people had just gotten arrested for being part of a group called Fear, and we could dive into that like in another episode or so. But they were, I feel like the word gang is such a violent thing to call them, but I considered this group more terroristic because they were planning things.
So the group Fear, because I know about that fucking organization. I had to deal with fucking,
a few of them
in lectures and fucking, death by PowerPoint about them being an MP. We have to fucking know the different fucking groups that are trying to infiltrate or come in and do shit. And they're more a domestic terrorist organization. They're not a gang.
Yeah. And that was a big thing too. But that's another example of things happening with unhappy people in the military. Whereas gang members who do join the military and end up actually really liking it because again, they like the structure, they like the organization of it, whether they go back to that life is, out of a conversation that we have knowledge of.
That's up to them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's like especially I would also argue that especially for people, if they're in that life and you join the military in whatever branch and you find you do like it and you do enjoy the structure and you do enjoy the discipline, fuck yeah, they're probably going to stick it out there. And even after they get out, they're probably not going back to that life. You know what I mean? Because it's like, it doesn't that life no longer offers, it's not bringing home the bacon, basically. You know what I mean?
R-Truth was released from sorry.
Fucking, I have a hard time sometimes, like after I've gotten out of the army, it's like I have a hard time thinking about like other jobs that I would want to do, because they all fucking suck compared to the army. You know what I mean? Like I had a lot of fun in the Army. So why would I want to do some fucking boring desk job shit? You know what I mean? Like, or fucking file paperwork or fucking anything, like after I've flown in fucking helicopters and like, you know, gotten to shoot thousands of rounds of like fun shit from fucking really fun guns. You know what I mean? Like, you know, like everything after you get to blow some shit up, you know, like once in a while, like everything after that's kind of just tame by comparison. So what the hell are you two doing?
Oh no, we're just reading. I was listening to you.
So
Yeah.
he hasn't officially been released. Well, he's been informed that his contract is not going to renew when it expires. So he's not officially out yet from the dungeon, but he will be once his contract's over. Sorry, I was checking validity of statements.
Yeah, anything that comes out from the dungeon's mouth, I gotta fact check. I love you, bro. But guys, we're up to the end now. This was, it's crazy what a conversation about Osama bin Laden will spark out of you.
Sure. Well, it had a heavy impact on all three of our lives. Like,
Yeah.
that entire that man and his life had a direct effect on all of our lives. So it's kind of like,
and we got you, motherfucker.
Yeah, the fucking rest in fucking piss, you little bitch. Like,
Yeah.
like, not sorry, not fucking sorry.
I mean, the conversation that spun though, like just starting with the documentary that you watched, spinning into that fucking, 45-minute segment, I would say.
Okay,
but
you know, it's been a while since we've talked about military shit, anyways. Like we
don't deep dive a lot because we try to just stay away from it. We try to just, do our own thing, and yeah, we're all fucking prior service. That's the whole point of the fucking show. We're, three veterans sitting around fucking circle jerking, talking about fucking life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
We do end up surprising you sometimes, though.
But every once in a while, we got to dive into the fucking nitty gritty of fucking shit we've seen and fucking heard and whatnot. So that was a good conversation.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, I know I had the final thought last week. Do you mind if we all piggyback off each other for a few things for this week's one?
You're fine.
Yeah, that's fine. But real quick before we jump into that, are y'all planning on watching Money in the Bank next Saturday?
Most likely.
If you guys remind me, I will.
Because we got Rhodes and fucking Uso. We got Rhodes and Jay versus fucking Cena and Logan Paul for the main event.
Ew, fucking Logan Paul.
Oh, that's good. At least we know John Cena's gonna.
Which platform is that going to be on?
Peacock. You got my login, bro.
Okay. Tracking.
I've been playing the shit. I've been playing the shit out of WWE and my rivalry with Logan Paul, and I've just been beating the fucking.
Oh, dude! Like,
he's a fucking
I wish
YouTuber.
there was a feature in that game where you could like break his back and like end his career. Yeah. You know what I mean?
It's funny. I was playing a rivalry match with I think another wrestler, JD McDonough, and I play the game on Legend, right?
Did they give McDonough a big ass fucking head like he has in real life?
Yeah, they did. And I'm playing the game, and I set the game that if whoever loses the rivalry is injured for 42 weeks, right? I accidentally lost the match. And I glitched, and my whole universe mode got glitched. My wrestler never came back. He died. My wrestler died. That's what happened. JD McDonough murdered him.
This bitch had to factory reset his fucking game.
I had to restart the whole universe mode because of that shit.
God damn.
I was so fucking pissed but man, that shit was pretty funny.
So,
but yeah, guys, we're here at the final thought, and I kind of want to start off with something because it's June 1st. You're going to see rainbow flags all over the place with all these companies saying we support this and we support that. And over here in DD214, we don't need a flag or a symbol or anything to let you know that
we have a J.
Yeah, exactly. And then we got the 40%er right here, and we have the Observer right over here. So, with this era and time coming up, and it happens every month, people get fucking mad. The juices start going crazy.
Dude, people are so pissed out here, dude. Like, I'm in the fucking Bible Belt. They fucking hate this shit out of me, dude. Like, they'll straight up comment on Facebook with their own fucking like profiles, like it's some hateful ass shit, dude. Like,
and like, look, over here in DD214, we love you, okay? And we know that there are a lot of members in the LGBT community who are veterans and active soldiers right now, who, and especially right now, there's a lot of crazy shit going on with some of the rules that are being changed. You know, that's out of our territory. And I mean, the biggest support is go to you guys. And like we said earlier, if you are able-bodied and if you want to serve, you should be able to serve. And I think that's a big problem that we're not seeing right now. And we just want you to know that you are not alone, honestly, because I have met people who, I actually know one guy who I thought his whole service, I thought he was straight. I honestly thought so. And when he came out of the army, when he left the army, he came out and he explained like he didn't want to talk about it during his time in the military. And it's nobody's
business. It's nobody's fucking business,
you know?
Right?
And at the same time, he talked about the positives of it. Like, you know, it's nobody's business. And then he talked about the negatives of it, how scared he was. And no one should be scared to be themselves.
No.
That's like my big thing. So go ahead, take it.
They shouldn't. And, you know, the thing I want to piggyback off of this is because a majority of my service was during the don't ask, don't tell policy still being.
Yeah.
That didn't get disbanded until
13 or 14,
15.
Yeah, something like that. Because
I was already out by the time that got disbanded.
It was still in effect.
I'm one of the, you know, I had buddies from high school that, you know, came out of the closet in high school and they still joined even during that period, but they kind of kept it like our friend group knew they were, but they just, that was it. There was our close group. And my thing is, I don't care what way you swing, left, right, fucking down the center. If you know how to fucking do your job effectively and you can fucking do it effectively, I don't care. It doesn't fucking matter.
Yep.
Just your preference of life partner has nothing to do with how well you can fucking shoot a gun and fucking watch my back in a combat zone.
It's correct. It's almost like freedom for one should be freedom for all. Huh?
Yeah.
How about that? What a fucking concept in the United States of fucking America, huh?
Which I mean, if I'm correct, the Constitution just mentions freedom.
A little bit.
It doesn't mention, you know, dividing the freedom and saying that this group of people should have more freedom than this group.
Yeah.
It just says freedom.
Did you see what Bernie Sanders said on the Flagrant podcast a couple days ago?
I didn't catch that. No.
He said, and I want to make sure I say it correctly, because he was saying, you know, it doesn't matter what your social identity is. What do you stand for?
Mm-hmm.
You know, and that is a big thing too. Like Squillini just said, you know, can you shoot a gun? Can you save me? Can you carry me out of battle if you need to? You know,
are you going to do your best every day, no matter what? And we don't have to worry. I don't have to fucking worry about you or babysit you like some of the shitbags we were talking about earlier.
You know, babysit you. Let's have a beer together.
Yeah,
you know,
you can do that every once in a while.
Let's have a smoke. You
but
know,
when it's on, it's fucking on.
And when the fucking shit gets deep, are you able to fucking stand beside me in that deep ass fucking pool?
Yep.
And handle your business.
When the shit goes down, are you going to be ready? When the shit goes down, are you going to be ready? Like,
absolutely. And now some of us may not understand what you guys are going through, and that's okay. We can watch and we can learn, and you could teach us. But at the same time, we know that there are a lot of people right now who are probably judging you just for being your fucking self, and that's fucking stupid. Okay? And with all that, if you're having a hard time, if you don't have anyone to talk to, if you guys don't want to talk to us, if you guys don't want to talk to the person next to you, your family member, your partner, you know, you have the National Suicide Hotline, and you could text or call 988 or dial 1-800-273-TALK, 1-800-273-8255. They are your therapist. Okay. And the good thing about therapy, when you get a therapist and sometimes you get a new one, you have to get used to that. And sometimes having to speak to someone different every time you call this number can be kind of agitating. We get it. But the difference is
it's a process.
Yes, but the difference is that every single person that answers that phone on the other end of that line is there for you.
Yeah, they care. They do.
And they fucking give a shit. They care.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They wouldn't be
Um,
doing the job if they didn't.
Yeah, and they're there for you to talk. Talk to them. Talk their fucking ears off, because that is what they're there for. Go ahead.
And not just using that line, make sure, if you find yourself frequently needing that ear, needing to reach out, also make sure to go get in with therapy, get into a therapist, whether it's individual or whether you want to go to a group session, or if you're married or with your life partner, depending on what realm you're in, and you decide, hey, I want to go to therapy, but I want my significant other with me. I want them to understand what I'm going through.
Family therapy is a fucking thing. Like,
I've done it,
doing
and it
the
works.
family therapy.
Me too.
If it helps, it helps, and that's all that fucking matters.
That's it.
And there's enough choices out there for you to get the fucking help.
Yes, there is. And I think this will be my final piggyback to go off of what you were saying, John. It is a process sometimes. I've had to change my individual therapist once already, and I've also I had to decline after a few sessions of a different type of therapy that they basically wanted to put me in, and it wasn't going to work. It was not going to work, and so I had to decline that particular brand of therapy, if that makes sense. And that's nobody's fault. That doesn't mean I'm not trying to get better. That particular brand of therapy was not what I need right now. You know what I mean? So I don't want to waste their time, and I don't want to feel like my time is being wasted with them through no fault of their own.
Yeah.
Because certain types of therapy aren't going to work for everybody. You know what I mean? That doesn't make us special or not special, or it's a real thing though. Like, not everything works the same on every person. Correct. So I'll stick with group and individual, and I'll leave the crazy stuff over here for like maybe another day when I feel better about it. You know what I mean? Like, straight up.
Absolutely.
Like, so
it's 100% therapy, and these tools can be tailored to your individual needs.
Yes.
And
100%.
It's never a bad thing if you have to shop around for a therapist. I've done it a million fucking times. Sorry, fucking wife dropped something in the kitchen right above me.
You're all right.
And the fucking bang on the fucking floor was like, holy fuck.
Oh.
I thought something was coming through. But because I've been shopping around here lately myself, and
I think
I've probably in the past 6 months seen like fucking 10 different fucking therapists.
Nothing wrong with that.
And it's just trying to find that person that I can mesh with when I'm trying to talk through what I need to talk through.
Correct. I went last year going into this year, I spent weekly for probably 3+ months. So probably like 12+ sessions before I had to cut the cord and say, like, I need to see somebody else. So like, I'd already seen this person like 8 to 12 times plus.
Yeah.
Easily. And then I was like, I'm sorry, like, it ain't working. Like, so I need to go over here. I'm going to try this one over here now. You know what I mean? Like, and it sucks a little bit. Like, you feel, I feel bad, but it's nothing personal on that particular therapist. It's just like, we have reached an impasse, and I'm not comfortable moving forward after this impasse. You know what I mean?
And
like,
they're, the vibe and the way y'all just meshed wasn't there.
Correct.
It was almost like it was like taking two negative ends of a fucking magnet and trying to push it together. And the resistance. There's
resistance. Yep. And you don't necessarily want that resistance with somebody who is supposed to be your therapist. Like, you need enough resistance so that if you're talking some crazy shit, they can bring you down to earth, but you don't want so much resistance that just talking about like your day or your week, you're feeling like off put by like their responses to you. It's really hard to describe, where it's just kind of like, I need some resistance, but not not that much. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like I shouldn't have to fight to tell you shit. You know what I mean?
I want you
Like,
to tell me when I'm being a dumbass, but I also want you to listen when I'm
Yep.
trying to explain why I'm being a dumbass.
thank you. That's correct. Because then
Oh,
there's
yeah.
well, because you're gonna get eventually. It's gonna be like, when we do this show, we do a weekly show. We go live. Some weeks we just don't have a lot to talk about as far as like what did you do this week? Fuck, man, not much, because I really just didn't do much this week. You know what I mean?
Which could have been this episode. And it
It could have been. And then if if you're a therapist though, just because the week was boring doesn't mean like we got to make some drama out of it. You know what I mean? Like we can just talk about a boring week then, if that's what we're there for. You know what I mean?
And that's the big thing is that, like you said, Jay, because I mean, shit, I've had the therapist too that it's like, well, how was your past week? And it's like, well, I didn't really do much this past week. And then
Yeah.
they try to drag fucking like childhood
Just
trauma
drag
out
some
of
bullshit out.
nowhere.
oh yeah.
And it's
Yeah,
like,
I'm
what
like,
the fuck are you doing, dude? I
don't
fucking
need all this
I went to
fucking-
work, I fucking sat at home, I fucking drank some beers, and I fucking played some video games.
Yeah.
I didn't have an exciting week. I didn't have any drama this week that I need to discuss with you.
But
I'm here just to
not
fucking
having like
vent if I need to. And if I don't have anything to vent about, we can spend 30 minutes talking about the fucking latest news release about a video game. I don't give a shit. But I don't need you to be like, well, it sounds like when you were growing up.
every day is not a crisis. Every day is not a crisis. There are days that become a crisis.
Yeah,
Every day is not a fucking crisis. Fuck that.
So,
that's
it's
right.
like shit. There's weeks where you're gonna go to your therapist and you're not going to have crisis situations to talk about. It's perfectly fucking normal.
Sometimes you might look at each other and be like, okay, why am I here today?
And that's part of
I've had those moments too.
That's part of the deal where it's just like, especially if you're seeing them like weekly or bi-weekly, basically more than once a month, you're talking about like there are going to be some lulls. You might have some shit to unwrap.
Shit,
Once
some
of that shit gets unwrapped, it might be a fucking another month before fucking some other shit comes up, or fucking before you start talking about the next layer of the onion.
I've
You know
had
what I mean?
times where fucking I've called, one thing I always look for when I'm going for when I was doing the search, I finally found somebody I like. Hopefully it stays that way and things don't go south, but it's been a very short amount of time. But one thing I look for is like even like the cancellation policies for fucking sessions. Like if I'm allowed to cancel within 24 hours, if they say 48 hours, I might not know I don't need to come to this session and pay money until 24 hours in advance.
Yeah.
Right.
Kind of thing. But I look for that too, because it's like, if I don't feel like I need to come into the office that week to fucking sit down and talk to you, I'm not going to waste your time or my time.
That's
If
right.
it was one of those weeks and we've had, a couple sessions that were the same way that month, I'm just going to fucking, say, okay, well, this week we're not going to bother, I'll see you next week.
Yep. Absolutely.
That happens, and that does happen. Like,
Yes, it does. And ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for coming to another This is one of the best episodes we've done. Make sure you go to cleansanchezmedia.com, get yourself a mother lover shirt, and let people know that you love mothers.
fuck
Okay?
yeah.
And but yeah, we'll be back. Same bat place, same bat channel. This is actually
You can only buy the shirt if you're underneath, if you're a 2XL or less. Just throwing it the fuck out there.
or if you contact me, I have bigger shirts, way bigger shirts.
He only has bigger shirts because of my fat ass.
I had to order bigger shirts, and so
He has to make mine custom at his house.
Yeah, so if you're over 2X, just let me know and we'll make the order and stuff like that. But guys, thank you so much. We love you. Stay hard, drink milk, and stay hydrated. All that good stuff.
Love you guys. Be good.